We're here at MVP with Brad and Chad Richardson. We have 15 pages of user-submitted questions, and they're going to try to answer them for you today. First one is from Daniel Herrera. What is your disc flight testing process?
Yeah, disc flight testing, a lot of it comes actually before even throwing it. A lot of it's just looking at the disc itself, checking the parameters, make sure it's all right with where we want it to be in terms of measurements. We check a lot of things like parting line, dome, rim depth, things like that, make sure it all looks good. And then from there, it comes from our background of throwing discs. We've been playing for 11 years now, and so we'll do a lot of internal testing ourselves between Brad and I, and then sometimes their feedback, and we'll have other people throw them to kind of gauge with different power levels, and kind of looking at it that way.
Great. Next one is from Nathan. It's got to be difficult perfecting the design. What goes into creating a new mold? And what's the average time to go from idea to production to distribution?
It takes a long time from concept to execution. Sometimes over a year. Sometimes if we're quick, and we'll be lucky if we get it in 6 months. But many times it seems to be the average is 1 year. Starting with concept, the design takes several weeks. Chad kind of talked about the design process.
It's definitely very challenging. The biggest thing with overmolding with our gyro technology, it presents a lot of hurdles. A lot of it comes down to, since we're doing 2 stages of molding, we have to mold the first component. We have to predict the shrink parameters of all the materials we're using, and then from there it has to fit the overmold perfectly, and there's very little margin of error when it comes to that. So a lot of precaution with that aspect, and then like Brad said, the design process to ending production is sometimes up to a year. We've gotten a lot better over the years. We're a lot more confident with our turnover time, but it's quite challenging. But we're getting pretty good now.
Great. Next one is from Daniel, and can you talk about the trial and error process? Also, some challenges and failures, and maybe some history we don't know.
There's a lot of challenges.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of molds that we've just had to scrap because they just weren't to our standards, and it's kind of a expensive failed experiment when that happens, but it's happened before. What's the most common thing? Mostly the crush.
The biggest thing is
sure bites.
Biggest thing is getting the overmold to fit perfectly. There's very, very fine window to work with, and if you're off just a little bit, we set ourselves to where if it's not quite where we want it to be, we just either start over or do a lot of retooling. That's all internal. The public doesn't see that. We'll sometimes go through 1 or 2 retools on a mold if we're just not quite happy with it. But in the long run, it is worth it. We do put quality as forefront of our disc. So we go from there.
With that being said, we do not release a disc until it's perfected. So there might be a couple of trial runs, but we don't release those products. It's once it's finalized at that point, then we start releasing the product.
Awesome. And a couple of questions about the rim weight ratios and testing. Kyle has a question. What is the rim to flight plate weight ratio of MVP compared to traditional disc?
That's a good question. Well, a lot of it comes down to just the overall material we're using. The core, the centerpiece that's molded first, we don't put any weight filler, so it is the lightest possible core. That way, from there, we can put all of our weight fillers and weighting agents in the overmold. A lot of the materials, for example, our overmold material is anywhere from 3 to 5 times as dense as the core. So it's quite heavy. If you pick up the raw material in your hand, it feels quite heavy. And then once it's put into the overmold, it's it brings the moment of inertia up when you're throwing.
Awesome.
It's a lot heavier.
Here's one from Trey. Have you ever molded up a disc with the same plastic for both pieces, i.e. non-gyro?
I think if we were to do that, it would be very comparable to just a 150s disc. I mean, our 150s class has a little bit of weight filler in the rim, but it's like a 150s is the closest that you're going to see as far as like being the same weight.
Yeah, like any disc, as you have your 175 versus your 150, your 150s are going to experience a little bit more turn and fade or wind fluctuations. Our 150s do see that, but not as much. They're more muted with the gyro mold, a little bit more smoother transition.
How would you explain the flight of a gyro disc compared to a non-gyro disc?
The biggest difference is your moment of inertia. What that is you're pushing all of the excess weight to the outside edge. And what that does is you're basically creating a gyroscope. One thing that I like to compare to is J. Yeti Redding. he's often stated it's a gyroscopic airplane wing, which is quite accurate. You have your aerodynamic shape that influences your overall flight of the disc, but the other aspect is when the disc is spinning, you want it to stay on that line of flight. So when it's spinning and it's more weight on the outside, it's going to stay on that orientation a little bit longer than most. So
A good way to describe it to someone who's not very familiar with the disc is a spinning top. You spin the top, it'll stay upright, maintain its orientation, and that's what an extra gyroscopic disc will do. Is it maintains that orientation when it's in flight.
Have you ever tried to make a 175 gram fishing core disc? Is there any?
That's a good question. I guess we'd have to first explain what fission is briefly, but fission technology is we're essentially using our current materials, our urethanes in the core, but we are infusing thousands and thousands of little bubbles inside of the plastic. Basically, we're taking a whole bunch of bubbles inside the flight plate and making the core lighter, and what that allows us to do is introduce even more weight filler on the overmold. At the same time, bringing the overall weight of the disc down, so you get the benefits of both increased gyroscopics and having an overall lightweight disc. That way you can stay and glide a little bit longer.
Yeah, generally a 165 is kind of like where we kind of cap off the weight, because that's already close to the maximal load of the weight filler that we're using, or at least very close.
Yeah, it's actually
it's the equivalent torque resistance, the rotational moment of inertia, to about a 185 gram disc, about 20 grams heavier. So a 165 gram disc is already quite maxed out as far as the angular momentum. Now, I mean, there are other weighted compounds that we can use that are very, very heavy, but they're very, very expensive. So, I mean, it's down the road, probably very possible, but that would be the hurdle to get anything heavier.
Yeah, and like Brad said, a 165 gram disc has the gyroscopic torque resistance of a 185 gram disc. But the downside of having, let's just say, a 185 gram disc, it's too heavy. It's not going to stay in the air. So with a fission disc, you get benefit of both worlds. You have the gyroscopics and also the lightweight glide.
Awesome. All right, here's one from Joe. Because of the gyroscopic properties and the effect that it has on the flight of the disc, have you guys noticed any disadvantages to molding certain types of discs?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Oh.
No.
I know
It only gets better.
Yeah, it's the inherent nature of a flying disc. You have your linear momentum, which is you're throwing it forward, and in order to stay on line is gyroscopics. That's that's a physical aspect of a disc you want to improve.
I know some people have theorized that we couldn't make a very overstable disc or a very understable disc, but I think we proved that wrong with the phase and the orbital. Those were the two extremes, and we intended those to be extremes, just to kind of show that you can have a very understable.
Yeah, with the
gyro
extreme,
disc or very
like Brad,
overstable.
like Brad's saying with the aerodynamic flights, it's actually going to make the transition of an overstable disc or an understable disc smoother, more predictable, I think.
Okay, next one's about new plastics. Will there be any new plastics this year?
Yeah. Firm Electron. Actually,
Electron?
right here is a Firm Electron ion prototype. Again, that's going to be released coming this year. I'm pretty excited about it. I usually put firm putters, so that's one coming out for new plastics.
Timeline? We're not sure. It's probably going to be later. The presses are pretty booked right now for the next few months, so it might be summer or fall before we get to that one in particular.
Yeah.
I know we're all looking forward to it, so.
Yeah, I'm anxious for it too. Don't worry. No.
That was probably the putter that you've been wanting since day one.
Yeah, that putter in particular is like literally 5 years in the waiting for me, so I'm excited for it.
All right, will there be more options for rim material in the future?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of experiments. I mean, one experiment being the plasma rim. We kind of are experimenting with it. There are limitations, but we are going to try and overcome some of them. So
Okay.
I guess you could say, yeah, we're working on some things.
It's on the horizon. And here's one from Miles. Is there going to be new plastic? Will you release plasma on plasma?
Yeah, as stated,
I
it's
think it
definitely going to
into
happen.
the same answer. I mean, like a lot of people notice that they're only in the 150s because when you add the weighted compound, it kind of makes the color look more non-metallic, kind of more natural. So we have to do a little more research and development to do, like a plasma
we
rim
have some
to
ideas.
our standards.
Yeah,
we've got some plans. It might take some time to perfect that technology, but I would see it as a very viable possibility in the future.
And how about glow cores? Are we going to see those in the future?
It's possible, yeah, but the biggest thing is weight. I mean, your glow agent is it's very heavy, and it's kind of defeats the purpose of overmolding. But I will say, it's possible. Is maybe a prototype configuration. It'd be kind of cool, but for performance, we kind of set it aside for now.
Well, another reason why we like to put the glow in the overmold is because you get the color options in the core.
Yeah.
I mean, like historically, you'll see that all glow discs are just that natural off-white color that don't look as good as a color core. So, aesthetics-wise, we like to keep the color options in the cores. So
Definitely. All right. A few questions about plastic mashups. Here's one from Joel. Any plans for a neutron core proton rim?
possible.
That's possible. Yeah,
I think same. Yeah.
We've experimented some things in the past, and it's promising. But again, there's some things we have to overcome before we dive into it. But it's something we want to do eventually. Yeah.
Awesome. Would or could there ever be a putter with a neutron plasma flight plate with an electron overmold?
That's where electron and our urethanes, like our proton, neutron, plasma, they don't like each other. They won't work. There's things like adhesives, things like that, but we don't use adhesives in our process. It's not not durable enough. So electron and anything like proton, plasma, neutron, it physically can't happen. They need to chemically bond.
It needs to be the same polymer family.
Yeah,
in order to
it's kind of
bond
like
together.
oil and water. They just separate. They don't stick to each other.
Makes sense. Okay, talk to us about these plasma rims you've done a couple times. Here's a question from Danny. Could you clarify the plasma rims? How are those rims different from other rims on plasma discs, and why are the 150G weights?
A lot of it is the reason why for the 150 weights is, again, I think Brad stated, is we have all the weight filler in the overmold. The weight filler and the plasma plastic, it kind of mutes the cool color effect, so it doesn't look as good as what we want it to be in terms of a plasma effect.
As far as like the actual material, it's the same overmold material. It's just the colorant that's giving it the appearance.
Are we ever going to see a plasma proton blend?
We're going to probably keep doing a few more experiments to see how repeatable it is. We've only done a couple of colors as an experiment.
Yeah.
I think you'll see more experiments of those. And then to see on the success and feasibility, we'll see if it's something we want to add later on or not.
Yeah, so far the experiments are pretty promising. Whether or not we release it as a separate line or not, it's hard to say, but there's a lot of opportunity there, I think.
Awesome. Okay. Will we see any Eclipse crossovers? Other than proton, maybe some neutron cores or plasma cores?
It's a possibility. A lot of it comes down to, since there's so many combinations, we have to pick and choose what ones are probably the most popular. But it's entirely possible, but it's hard to say if and when it'll happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we kind of, when we were deciding on Eclipse, we kind of decided what one was the best. The reason why we went on the proton was because when you have that white rim on that bright core, it actually like radiates the light into the core, make it a brighter core.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the reason why we went with proton for starting out and so far as a standard. But if things change, it's definitely possible.
Mm-hmm. It looks really cool with the lights on it too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yep, they're really bright.
Yep.
Very cool.
I mean,
Okay,
yeah.
let's talk about white plasma. What happened with that?
Yep. We did do one color as an experiment. We weren't as happy with it as some of the other colors. It was unique and it was only in small quantities, so the ones that are out there actually kind of, I think, pretty popular or sought after. But we are working on something better.
We actually have some.
Yeah,
We
it's
actually
coming pretty quick.
We got a sample of it.
Yeah.
We're gonna next time we do a plasma run, which will probably be later this summer. We'll try the white, and if it's successful, then we'll add it to the line permanently.
Yep.
The goal is to have something that's got that great pearly effect, and the white plasma that we did had a little bit of a sheen to it, but it wasn't very pearly, at least to our standards. So
Yeah, we're looking for something better. And we think
we're working
got
on something, and we think we got it.
All right, how about black plasma?
Same
Same
thing.
thing.
In
Yep.
fact, when we
Both of them at the same time.
yeah, when we're working on the white plasma, we're working on a black plasma as well. So same thing. We'll
Yeah.
probably have some experiments later this summer when we do a plasma run, and if it's successful, we'll start running them in the future.
Very cool. And how about black putters? Are there any plans to run more of these? or-
That's kind of an interesting one. We did used to do quite a few of them. We have slowed down on the production of the black ones because we actually get some of our dealers tend to not like some of the darker colors. They are unique and sought after, but in large quantities, mostly brighter colors. So if and when we do, there'll be smaller quantities, unfortunately. But
Yeah, that's the number one requested color, like omission from
Yeah,
dealers.
yeah.
That's what the dealers just I can understand.
Oh, yeah.
Black just doesn't make sense.
They're
but when we
easy to
do make
lose.
them, there is a good market for it. So we want to try to keep them.
We'll do them once in a while, pretty much.
Cool. All right. How about an orange metal flake proton?
Yeah,
Is there any of that out there? or-
yeah. We got some.
I don't know
glitter.
if we've done any runs of it yet, but we have a new glitter. What it is it's a clear glitter, meaning we can add it to any proton color we want. 'Cause
We're adding it to
before-
some of our plasma right
yeah.
now too.
Yeah, like right now before we had it just in the blue because it was a compound, but this time around we took out the blue and it's just the color, so we can start doing it in all our proton colors. So I think we've done a few.
Haven't
but
done
we'll
orange
start
yet, I
doing
don't think, but
more.
we plan on
Orange,
doing
but
it on
we'll-
pretty much
We'll get
everything.
to it eventually.
Awesome. All right. Here's a couple of questions about consistency. Here's one from Joe. Are you afraid of losing plastic consistency due to all the new plastic types?
No, actually, I'd say it's an improvement. Since we've grown to where we are, we've put a lot of emphasis on our product quality, things like automation, and new equipment, things like that. And so honestly, it's a continuous improvement as we get bigger.
And here's one from Joshua. How are you going to keep your product quality consistent in an ever-growing market and your expanding need for your products?
I think the same thing applies. We
Same
put
thing.
very heavily into automation, our materials, everything's just kind of improving our processes all across the board,
Yeah.
really.
As you increase production volume, it actually gives you an opportunity to have more consistency, higher consistency, because you get to do a larger size production run. Because if you're doing small scale production runs, you're always changing molds. There's a lot of inconsistency and changeovers. So when you do a larger scale production run, you get better consistency.
Awesome. Okay, now we're going to talk about the early ions. I know this is a big topic. For
It was the
fan
big,
page.
Yeah,
big,
it's a
a,
fun
lar-
one.
a long evolution.
Yeah.
It was the beginning, I guess.
Yeah.
Here's a question from Ronnie, a two-part question. Why is the first ion blue core red rim, and why did you change the gyro rim to black?
The color, that was pretty much just off the top
Spur
of our
of the
heads.
moment, spur of the
yeah,
moment, we
we
just figured-
completed the mold and we were ready to run it, and we didn't think about what colors we wanted. So Brad and I just figured, what sounds good?
We
Let's
just
do
figured there were
blue
two
and
popular
red.
colors that would look cool together.
Yep. So it just kind of naturally happened that way.
And then afterwards, when we were going into production,
Ah.
we going into the second run and why we chose black, because we were facing the decision like, all right, we're gonna do more than just blue with red rim. Are we gonna start doing multiple color rims? And I mean,
This
that
is
was,
going to be a bigger run.
this
so we had
was
to make a
this
decision.
was the debate when we were first starting out, and we realized early on that different colors have different processing parameters, and that would affect consistency. So that's why we went with the traditional black because of higher consistency starting out.
And to kind of branch off that axiom with all our color mold, we now have the equipment to handle all the colors. So at the time, black was a safer bet in terms of consistency.
All right, next one is from Josh. Will you ever release a series of throwback first-run ions?
Not really possible. The mold, since we've started the ion, we've learned a lot with the overmolding process, and it has gone through a couple of improvements over time. So the original ion mold, I think it's actually sitting back in the corner over there, but it's kind of obsolete now. Yeah.
All right, here's a question from Daniel. Any chance of a textured bottom MVP Axiom disc? Like the first one?
We tried that with the ion, and overall, I don't think we were just very satisfied with it. I mean, some people do prefer the texture bottom, but for an overall, performance standard, I think everyone prefers the smoother bottom.
And as other companies sometimes do you foresee any MVP and Axiom molds being retired from the lineup in the near future?
I don't
So
think
far, no, I don't think
I don't
so.
think so. I mean, we have not. It's not crossed our mind at all. In fact, with our overmolding process, we get the advantage to be able to scale our runs easier as far as like quantity wise, and it's no, I don't think so. Everything seems
Yeah,
to move
as
very
we
well.
grow, the volume of all our molds has increased, so I don't see any need to slow down or retire anything.
All right. And as far as weight ranges, why doesn't the amp range come in the 150 weight class?
That's a good question. That kind of applies to the volt, amp, and shock, that they share the same core. A lot of it's just come down to improvement in design. That was our first driver. A lot of it comes down to the flight plate thickness. That is a little bit thicker flight plate. We've now have improved our equipment to handle thinner flight plates. At the time, we kind of struggled with it, so we had to kind of play on the safer side. So inherently, at the time, that's all we could handle.
Makes sense. And are there any plans to release mid-ranges in lighter weights? Or what's the issue with that?
Mid ranges are larger diameter,
Yeah.
and so larger diameter means larger volume. So by nature, mid ranges are always a little bit heavier. We've got a few of them in the 160s, but I don't know if we're going to get them much lower
I
than
don't-
that.
I
At
don't
least,
think we'll hit
not the
150s.
molds that we have now. I mean, future mid-range molds, very likely, very possible.
If we did, like, for example, Electron, maybe, but that's something I think we'll get into some of those questions with the Electron mids and stuff.
Here's a few questions about the 17 millimeter class. And here's one from Mike. He'd like to know what kind of input goes into the decision-making process that determines what molds get manufactured.
Yeah, it's kind of a collaboration of.
Strictly, I think the biggest factor is just the popularity and the sales volume of it. I mean, bottom line is we're going to release the more popular models in the additional plastics first, and then depending on continued demand, we'll release a couple. We've seen a lot of requests for things like proton resistor, and so we kind of, for starters, they're going to release it as the circuit fundraiser model, and just we'll kind of watch for other niche models like that moving forward.
And kind of like blanketing on top of that, for example, the question of Eclipse neutron, Eclipse plasma. Since there's dozens and dozens of combinations, we kind of have to pick and choose what we think is popular first, and we kind of go from there.
Okay, so majority of the questions were about the Electron plastic. So we're going to call this portion the Electron Super Bowl. And when is firm Electron coming?
Soon.
As soon
Yeah,
as possible.
we wanted to launch it very quickly. Granted, we do have a lot with our production schedule. It's pretty booked right now,
Yeah.
but as soon as we can. We got a prototype actually right here. This is a firm ion. I'm really excited for these. We've been pretty eager to get all our plastics launched, but it comes down to we've got all our distance drivers of MAP and Axiom to launch first, but we're getting there very quickly.
Yeah, quite naturally, we're going to start out with the 23 millimeter distance drivers first, and so there's a lot of distance drivers we're releasing this year. So during the season, we're going to be production's going to be going for those, but as soon as we're done with those, we'll be trying to get the Electron firm out.
Look
as
for
soon as
these
possible.
later in the season.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. And is there any more Electron plastics besides firm? Is there any other blends you're planning?
I mean, we're always experimenting behind the scenes. Right now, I'm projected to do our regular soft and firm, but anything beyond that's entirely possible. But mostly the three is what we're targeting first.
Okay. And as far as models, are we going to see Electron minis?
Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible.
It's not on the board or anything yet, but it's something that we can try. We're kind of curious if we can make it work or not.
Yeah, next
So
time we do
we'll give it a
production on
shot.
minis, we'll do an experiment and see.
Yeah.
And then if it works out well, or if it needs another mold like some of our Electron molds do, so try it and we'll see.
And Nathan asked, is there going to be an Electron Tensor Volt or Tesla? These
One of those is
One of those is planned.
we're gonna try. We're crossing our fingers
Possibly
on it.
later this year on one of those.
Okay.
I'll leave it a mystery as far as which.
Yeah, in reality, we do want to launch a lot of our molds in Electron. It's just it's a little bit more timely because we have to build molds for each and every one. But one of those we're gonna be giving a shot. So
So it's safe to say some mids will be coming out in Electron too.
possible.
Eventually.
Yep, eventually. Yep,
Okay.
I would say so.
Great. How about the Electron putters? Are you going to expand into Axiom? Proxy and Envy?
Yeah, we do want to experiment with Electron
Yeah.
and Axiom with
Okay.
the colorability and whatnot, but it's a matter of time before we experiment and see how it goes.
Require some experiments because you're mixing colors, different colors, and things like that, and just we're gonna experiment first before we actually do it.
Yeah, a lot of it is we don't want to just dive into something blindly and just launch something that's not to our standards. We want to take our time, make sure it's done right beforehand.
All right, we're going to continue on with some questions about models and plastics and lots of topics and questions about new stuff, maybe some old models. And we're going to jump into it with the Matrix. When's the release date for this?
Circuit events,
Yeah.
pretty much. That's where they're gonna say their debut is the first circuit events.
It's
And,
going to be exclusive for the circuit events at first. That way we can compete with them during the tournaments and have a lot of fun with them, get some feedback, and then after the events we'll launch it for production.
yeah, after circuit season. So this fall we'll have a stock release.
And how about the Neo Stamp Matrix? I know this is a hot topic on the
I think maybe talk with Zach about that. Maybe he can help you out there.
Yeah, the Matrix is definitely screaming for some kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
limited edition when it's released. So
Yep.
probably, I don't know if it's gonna be a Neo stamp, but we're gonna probably do something, I imagine.
Can't wait to see what happens. And when are we going to see the big distance drivers, the high class?
Yeah, we are. We're launching this season the 23 millimeters. Actually, this is a prototype. This is the Energy here. We're pretty excited for them. We're very pleased with them. 23 millimeter wing speed. You can see there's a little bit more dome. I don't know if the camera can pick that up or not, but they've got a little bit more dome, wider wing, faster speed than some of our existing ones. So we're pretty excited for this. Anything beyond that?
Four different stabilities,
Yep,
four different
four different
models.
stabilities for everything from super overstable to understable. Everything between.
How does the stability compare, like the spectrum? Like I know the 21.5 millimeter MVP we kind of kept that a larger spread. This
Yep.
one maybe a little bit more narrow.
This
I believe.
the spread's pretty good, and I will say there is an improvement to the spread. If you look at the Photon and Wave, there is a little bit of a gap between the two. This one, we've evened out the stability gap, so each increment will be a little bit more consistent.
Awesome.
We're excited for them.
Okay, this is a question from Joshua. Will there be more discs available in more plastics in 2016?
Oh yeah, lots.
I
Lots
think
to
our
come.
release
Oh, yeah.
schedule, we're gonna probably be releasing lots of new products. Just yeah.
Yeah, our machines are booked 24/5 right now. We're running everything we can.
Okay, here's a question from Dan. When are we going to see the plasma photon? I know it's a fundraiser.
It'll be a
Yeah.
fundraiser.
Yeah.
Again, we want to keep it exclusive to the fundraisers during circuit season to help those out who use it as fundraiser model.
Yeah.
And then after circuit season, it'll see a stock release.
Okay. So later on this year, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
All right. And how about Shock and Proton? One of your oldest discs.
It's a
Yeah.
possibility.
I think
yeah.
we kind of blanketed that with the 17 millimeter
The resistor.
plastics. I mean, definitely not impossible. I know Proton resistor was one we've seen a lot of requests, and Proton Shocks would be another one. So maybe a circuit fundraising model in later years, but a lot of it's just the popularity of the distance drivers. We kind of target those first, and then we'll branch out maybe eventually.
Are we going to see any more fission drivers this year? Or?
Yeah,
near future?
I think so. I mean, we're pretty eager with it, especially being in faster discs. That's when you really start to see its
Yeah.
benefits.
We're definitely going to try it in the one of the middle stabilities on the 23 millimeter. Look forward to that one.
Awesome.
Yep.
Can't wait. And how about plasma everything? Plasma lens, plasma.
that plastic's becoming very popular. We definitely
Yeah.
want to get it to as many
It's gonna-
models as possible. It's just a matter of
Definitely gonna branch out.
targeting the popular ones first and then filling it out from there.
Yep. Cool. Okay, here's some questions about overstable putters, groove tops, different technology for putters. And here's a question from Dakota. Is there any plan for a true overstable putter?
Yeah, eventually, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely a need that we need to fill, and we've targeted a lot of the middle stabilities with our putters, as that's predominantly the most popular. But of course, there's a hole to fill, so we will do it.
Awesome. And what about a groove top putter? Do you have any plans for that?
Not any immediate specifics, but it's not to rule it out either. I think down the road it'd be something we can experiment with. Yeah.
Okay. And how about like a super class disc, like the lids you see?
Yeah, that's a big one that we get asked a lot. I personally, I love lids. You know, I definitely see it's something
they're
we're
fun.
gonna want to try into.
They're fun
Yeah.
warehouse throwers.
They're fun warehouse doors. You know, we got our tunnel right here to practice on. That'd be a lot of fun here.
Very
Yeah.
cool. And let's see. Are you going to overmold the Arobi Epic?
Why not? No, I don't know.
When?
When?
Right,
Like an overmolded T-bird.
Yeah.
right. That'd be a little challenging, but I won't rule it out.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's possible. I guess we're going to talk some more about Electron here. Here we got a question from Ronnie. Is the Electron plastic transferred to Axiom discs as well as fission?
Fission and electron and axiom. I don't see why
Eventually,
not.
I think so. Both of those have been very popular. I mean, right now, we changed over plasma into axiom, and that's been a huge hit so far.
Yeah.
And I think eventually we will.
Very cool. Can we please have firm electron proxies?
Yeah, I agree. I would like that. It's just a matter of when we can get to them. I mean, we target a lot of the popular models, and Proxy is one of them, so it's a possibility.
Okay, let's talk about the new Axiom drivers. Here's a question from Sal. When will you release the high-speed driver molds in Axiom class?
Very soon.
Soon? Yeah.
Very soon.
You're gonna see the 21.5 millimeter axiom the next month or two.
Yeah, and we have 3 of those projected for this season, and we're pretty excited for them because those 3 in particular, they're going to mesh well with the MVP versions, where these ones fill the stability gaps in between those quite nicely, I think.
Okay, awesome. How about Glow Axiom? Is there any plans for that?
Not impossible. I mean, not any immediate plans, I admit, but there's a possibility for sure. I think it'd be something
What
we
we
can
would-
experiment with.
For axiom Eclipse, what we would have to consider is the factor of the colored rims, because when you add colorant to the rim of a disc, where like the glowing agent is, it might mask the glow ability a little bit, the luminosity of the glow. So you gotta be careful. I mean, you can do it, but it's a balancing act of having good color, but also have it glow as well. Because you put too much color in it, make it bright color, it might detract from the glow ability of it. So
Possibility is we could consider possibly the using the core as the glow. That we can do colored overmolds, but again, the concerns of the weight filler and the glow being heavy. So it's something we'll have to tinker with and see
a little
what
bit of
works.
learning involved
Yeah.
to consider that
But
one.
it's on the drawing board.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's been discussed.
And how about a Plasma Wrath?
Yeah.
You're gonna see a lot more
I think-
Axiom plasma models. It's
Okay.
been a huge hit this year.
I know
Now,
the
as
Wrath
far,
is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
now, as far as which ones are not fully decided yet,
Right.
whether it's gonna be the Wrath or Insanity or any others, we're not sure yet. But there's gonna be more Axiom plasma for sure.
And how about a Watermelon Mini?
I think so.
We haven't planned it. We haven't-
No plan,
no
but
plans for
we'll
it.
talk with Zach, see what he can do, and we'll maybe make it happen eventually. Yeah.
Awesome. Are we going to see a more overstable MV?
Pretty much an overstable putter, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see. Yeah, I definitely, because there's definitely a need for an overstable putter in that category.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And how about Axiom MVP crossovers? Elle had a question. Any chance of ever getting some fun limited edition Axiom MVP crossovers? MVP in Axiom colors, Axioms with black rims.
I think we did with the
Yeah.
Halloween. We did it with the Halloween.
that's true.
Envy and Crave, actually.
And
So-
also we did the white rim Tesla with the
So,
limited edition.
a little
So
bit.
occasionally, but we'll keep them limited. We don't want to go too
Yeah.
prolific.
Probably as limited editions when the style justifies it, we will.
Now we're going to get on to the backpack, the new Voyager backpack, and there's been a lot of response for this, and there's a lot of questions here, and we're going to talk about that, and we'll give you a walkthrough and show you what it's all about.
Yep, so this is our prototype backpack. This is our first introduction to our backpack series. Medium size, this is kind of a quick rundown. We want to show some of the features of it. Right now, main capacity is around 18, mix of putters and drivers. Upper compartment for storage, 2 side zippered pockets. We have room for stool, umbrella. Also optional is a drink holder. We got two main drink holders. One's a little bit bigger, optional one here. Large one and small one again. Mini pocket, pencil pocket. The inside you have a scorecard holder. One thing that we want to talk about we're pretty happy with is the stability of the bag. That's been something backpacks have been kind of suffering in. But right here, these are just custom prototype 3D printed ones. The production will be black. They look a little funny right now. But what these are, they protect the corners from wear and tear. And stability, it gives it the largest footprint possible. Very, very stable bag. Again, something we're pretty happy with. The stability of this thing's pretty rock solid. But if you want to get up top, we'll kind of show you how the top compartment works. There's three ways to use the upper compartment. Right now it's sealed shut, everything's closed. We have our custom MVP zipper pulls here. There's three ways. Again, we got a jacket in here for this storage. And we got putter pocket up top, pretty decent capacity. There's three ways. First thing is we can tuck this flap up, like so. So you have quick access for your putters, very easily accessible, and quick access for your compartment there. Now, if you don't want this flap as easily accessible, you can alternatively, with this Velcro on the inside of the putter pocket, there's a liner of Velcro, so you can slide that in. And so what that does is it creates a seal between your compartment and your putter pocket. So now you've got your putter pocket, separate from your storage compartment. And then also, you can seal it right up when you're done using it. So that's a cool feature that we're impressed with. And with the opening, we're pretty happy with how you can pull the discs out. The gap between is quite nice. It doesn't rub very hard. They come up quite smoothly. What's also key is these corners here are very sharp. That way your outside discs, very easily accessible. You can give it out quite no problem. And then this will seal shut with the Velcro on the bottom to keep it sealed that way. And that's just a quick feature rundown. When we launch them, we'll have more discuss. We'll go over it from there.
And is there any plans for more colors, an Axiom bag perhaps, and bright fun colors?
Axiom bags,
Axiom bag is very possible.
Yep.
Okay.
We haven't decided exactly when, but we will eventually. Our goal is to have a full line of products for all our brands, MVP and Axiom, and future ones. Full product line.
Yeah, we're always in developing of new bags, new discs, everything. We're not stopping.
Danny has a question. Is there any plans for a disc cart in the future?
No immediate plans, but it's been something we've talked about. The popularity of those has grown, and there's definitely a need for it. We can,
We can definitely do
research into.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This is a very long question. With the drop in petroleum prices, I would imagine your production costs have dropped, thus increasing your bottom line. If so, how would you spend your cash inflow?
It's ironic. The prices of petroleum have gone down, but it's interesting how you don't really see the pass down on costs. We haven't seen those, savings, unfortunately.
Well, in some ways, yes and no. We have been able to get access to better pricing with our materials, but probably more so from the increased purchasing volume, more so than the drop in petroleum prices. Quite naturally, as you get more purchasing volume with material suppliers, you can get better pricing in raw materials. And rather than to just get a lower price material and pass it into our bottom line in profitability, we've used that opportunity to invest in better materials. For example, our overmold material is a key material. We actually recently upgraded our overmold material to a much more durable compound. And going into this season, you're going to notice that in a lot of models, how much more durable the overmold is. Very durable. And the big hurdle in being able to do that before was the pricing was it was just not possible at our production volume back in those days. But now that we've got a very significant purchasing volume with raw material suppliers, we can attain price points that are much more feasible with materials like that. So, so overall, you're gonna see the increase in bottom line and the quality more so than profitability of our company.
Yep. On that note, basically with our increase in volume, as we've grown, we've been able to buy bigger lots of material, and so across the board, we're a lot more consistent when it comes to the material. So that's always a good feature.
Awesome, guys. And here's some questions about apparel. Is there any ladies wear coming?
Yeah, we do want to expand our apparel quite a bit.
We will. Again, I think that's something's going to come like maybe this fall or winter. We're going to pursue it in the near future. The key was we wanted to find some better suppliers that we're working with, get more flexibility, be able to offer more options, and we think we got that opportunity. So we will pretty soon.
Here's a question from David. When will we see more apparel, like different baseball hats, cotton blend shirts, shorts, shoes, etc.?
Same
Yeah,
thing.
same.
Blanketed in the same thing. We found some new suppliers that are much better to work with. That are going to give us much more flexibility. And outside just the shirts arena, I think we're going to be able to offer more options like long sleeve shirts, hoodies, shoes, other things, jackets. Like
Yep.
yeah, definitely we're going to have more apparel.
Jeremy asks, when will you start providing more MVP Axiom merchandise branding for materials for purchase?
We're always
working on new
new
stuff.
Yeah.
I know last year we launched a lot of new accessory items, and we're still working on new ones. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more accessory items, MVP and Axiom branded.
Ryan asks, when will we see some flat bill hats? Sweet flat bill hats.
So one's
key.
same thing.
Again, same blanket.
Same
Yeah,
thing.
we're going to expand a
we're
lot of our
expanding
apparel opportunities. Yeah.
Stickers and patches. Josh asked, are we going to have some Axiom patches anytime soon?
I've thought about it.
I think so.
Pretty soon, I think so. I haven't decided exactly when, but yeah, we're going to have more accessory items altogether, patches included.
And Joel asked, any other sticker colors than the white that you have now?
White's the most popular, but colors, again, same thing. We want to expand all of our accessories, more colors included.
Cool. And towels. Dan asked, when will towels be back in stock?
We'll have them
Shortly.
back in stock this summer. It's actually going to come in the same shipment as our bags. So
Okay.
we do have more. We kind of went out of stock on them for a few months because we wanted to find a better supplier and a better quality one, and we found that. We're really excited for the next one. It'll be a much better towel. So coming later this summer.
Yep.
And Jarvid asked, nighttime eclipse towels? Question mark.
We'll have to
lights
do some
sunk
more
up.
R&D on that one.
Drink some lights
Put it on
to the edge
drawing
there.
board.
Cool. All right. Well, we've got this portal sitting here, and can you talk to us about this thing?
Oh, we're really excited. for
Yeah,
this
we're
one.
pretty eager with this. We spent a lot of time, perfecting every aspect of it. This basket, we didn't cut any corners on. We went with the
Top of
best
the
on
line
everything.
on everything.
High dip galvanized everything, powder coat and galvanized top, and probably the most nice feature on this is the chains, stainless steel, 30 strands of chains, 3 rows. It's the first on the market featuring
Wow.
everything like that.
And by far the best performing basket out there. We have 3 full rows of chains because a lot of the baskets out there kind of skimp on the middle and inner rows. They don't fully cover the whole radius, and you get a lot of pull bounces in the weak areas. This one does not have any weak areas at all with it having 30 chains.
Every segment is radially symmetric, so no matter what angle you're attacking from, it's going to do its job. Another note on this basket, with it being as high quality as it is, and the feature rich with the stainless chains and three rows, our pricing is going to be, I
Very
believe, the best on the market. Yeah,
Very
we're going to be
competitive.
very aggressive. The main thing is we see this as an opportunity to grow the sport. We want more courses in development. We want to see these going in the ground, growing disc golf. More courses, the better for everyone. So we've been very aggressive and trying to help out our parks.
So if you know anyone that's looking for baskets to install courses, have them contact us. I think you're going to be really pleased with the Black Hole Portal. It's by far the best performing.
We've gotten a
quality
lot
out
of
there.
a lot of engagement. A lot of questions. People are very eager to get these in the ground already. So as soon as we get them in, we're going to be get them in courses.
I know I've tested it, and it makes me feel like a better putter because, seriously, they do not bounce out, ever. Never. Here's a question from Danny. Is there any plans for a collapsible basket akin to Innova's Disc Catcher Traveler?
It's not ruled out, but I will say with our precision practice and pro practice baskets, they're very collapsible, very compact, and honestly very good performing. So that's more predominant, but I wouldn't rule it out. We could always look into
Yeah,
that.
because you could disassemble our 3 practice models very quickly in under a minute or two. You could just unscrew the poles and it goes into a little box. It's very portable. Put it in the trunk of your car.
Yeah.
So. And the build and quality is, in my opinion, much more superior.
Yeah,
on
you're gonna
the
get
metal baskets.
you're gonna get a better performance out of these baskets than some of the the smaller collapsible models, and again for a good price.
But I mean, I know that there's
Yeah.
travel ability or portability, so we will eventually, But for now, I think that the 3 practice models will fulfill a lot of those needs in the
think so,
meanwhile.
too. And Tim Stevenson asked, "Can I please have the mini black hole for Easter?"
right here. Yep.
Mini
Sorry, we don't have it
watermelons.
released. Sorry, we don't have it released for Easter, but it is in production and it will be available this summer.
It's here now. We're very
It's
happy
awesome.
with it. It's pretty sweet.
Double chain there, it's awesome.
And
Double chain mini
again,
basket
very
with the banded
competitive
top.
pricing.
Yeah, very competitive.
We're eager for it.
Very cool. And how about future course products? Rory asked, "Does MVP have any more plans for innovative products for the course?"
Obviously the portal basket
Is
is
a
our
big
first,
innovation.
first eager thing to get into. T signs are again something we're thinking about.
Okay.
Professional T signs. We
Another
are looking.
possibility is T-pads.
Yep.
We've been thinking about that. We're kind of looking into it and see what materials are out there, what kind of technologies are out there. So yeah, we're going to expand upon baskets for courses. We're a disc golf distributor, and our goal is to just have as many options as we can. And so yeah,
Yeah, we want quality products. For quality courses. That's the basis of growing disc golf is good
Yep.
quality courses.
Very cool. Eric Reed asked, "How about a small binder or flip book that we can add or remove flight charts that we can buy or whatever to suit what is in our bag? Would be great for a pocket caddy or just reference
Yeah.
for other players."
That's a good idea. I don't see why that wouldn't be something we could explore. I think it'd be pretty handy.
I think a good idea, kind of stemming from that, if we were to do something like this, probably would do this versus probably maybe like a smartphone app or something like that where you
Yeah.
can pull it up. I mean,
Yeah.
you do got the website, you can pull them up, look on the website, but maybe an app, Yeah, we're all about technology and thinking about different ways to present our disc flight. So, I like the idea.
Al said that would actually solve the problem of having to explain what my discs do to people and who only understand the traditional flight number system.
Yeah, we put a lot of time into our flight charts, and again, stemming from that, it's flight charts are important, especially if you're new to disc golf and not knowing how they fly. So it's definitely something we want to keep focusing on.
Okay, so there's a lot of questions about sponsorships and sponsored players, and here's a question from Josh. Will there be any new sponsors coming in 2016, or is there any talk of new sponsors?
In terms of sponsorships, yeah, we do want to get more involved with some sponsorships. I can't say for certain on 2016 or not, but as we've grown, it's something that we're putting a little bit more focus into. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our first priority was our product, so we put our resources into our equipment and everything we do to make a better product. And so now that we've invested a lot in our products already, and we're continuing to grow, it's definitely one of those things that we're going to do in the near future.
Ben asked, if you could pick a pro to throw your plastic, who would it be and why?
I like Simon Lizotte. I think he's a cool guy. I
He's
think
a cool
he'd,
guy.
After the
be fun to
performance
throw
at
with.
the World Distance Championships this weekend,
Yeah.
that was pretty awesome.
was exciting.
David Wiggins,
the 1,000
come on.
foot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was impressive.
Let's get
I
some
think
vision
so.
in their hands.
Yep.
Let's set some
Yeah.
real records.
All right, and can you speak with your current relationships with your current
Team MVP.
sponsors?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, the Sandstroms, they started talking to us about two years ago, and it's been unique, really cool working with them. Never got to meet them, but we've had a lot of correspondence over the email. We sent them lots of packages of product for them to test out, get their feedback. It's pretty cool watching Christian just throw those MVP gyros just far, Sophie Sandstrom has been winning a lot of tournaments recently. She's dominating the European scene over there. So we're really happy to have both Christian and Sophie representing our products in Europe. Graham Rosso had an awesome performance just a couple of weekends ago at the Memorial.
Awesome.
Yeah, Derek kind of got to see that. Derek actually got in touch with them. We're sending them some more product to test. And also just with Team MP in general. Derek, now they got Derek on board. We're going to have Derek be in charge of a lot of the sponsorship deals that we have with our team. So our sponsored players will probably hear more from him moving forward. Continuing on the list, we have Jennifer Sawyer. Awesome player in Michigan. She's been at the fan meetup. We got to meet her personally. Great girl. She's really good.
Awesome person.
Yeah, blew us away at how good she was.
Right. That's a lot of fun playing with her.
Threading those tight fairways at Mill Creek was pretty awesome. Watch her hit a 100-foot approach shot. Just nailed the chains.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, she's good. Marianne Ludwig, again, awesome thrower in Germany. Got quite a cannon.
Yeah, he does a lot of online reviews and such too, which a lot of people enjoy. Helps spread the word that way.
Jens Johnson's another one. He's been doing some cool things with some schools. His club has been donating lots of discs to their schools. I think that's awesome to see them grow in the sport, and that's kind of one of the big reasons why we wanted to support him. Send him a new product all the time. And then, of course, their cousin Preston dominates the local scene. Again, another cannon arm. He gives us a lot of input when we're developing product, throwing those high speed drivers, he can get them up to speed and make them fly. So
yeah, he does a lot of internal testing with us with new developments.
Very cool.
Yeah, but overall our team, they're a great bunch of people. They're very dedicated to the sport. They're very great ambassadors. They want to see disc golf grow and as well help us with our branding. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Yeah. A few of the fans have some questions about gaining MVP sponsorship. What would you tell them to do and encourage them to do with their time in the sport?
Yeah, a lot of it's how you promote disc golf in general. It's not about what top level you're playing at, but if you are a good representative, if you're professional with good demeanor, that's very important.
Yeah, we're always scouting the scene. We always have our eyes open, and and if you're a great ambassador for our products and disc golf, we'll certainly reach out to you.
Yeah, and admittedly, during our first couple of years of growth, it hasn't been a huge priority for us, just because our products are very intensive when it comes to manufacturing. But with the level we're at and rapidly growing now, we definitely do want to keep expanding our team.
Awesome. All right. Now we're going to ask a few personal questions for Mr. Brad and Chad here. And first, what would you throw without MVP? What did you guys throw before you had MVP?
Yeah,
probably a lot of the Innova Classics. That's kind of what that's where I came from when I went into MVP. I was favorite distance driver, the Valkyrie, loved the T-Bird, the DX T-Bird specifically. Putters, I think I was using a Wizard. I can't remember actually. I was using a Buzz. That was my main mid-range. But just kind of the classics out there.
Yeah, that's pretty similar with me. At the time when we first started, it was the kind of the high-speed race. People like Innova and Discraft, they were starting to develop some of the higher speed stuff. So at the time, Wraiths were very popular for distance drivers. I threw a lot of them. Putters, I threw a Gateway Wizard. I did like them. Mid-ranges, I threw a lot of Buzzes. Sometimes a Wasp in there for overstability. Yeah. Some of the classics.
Here's another one. What are your favorite discs? And can you guys do an in the bag video?
Okay, that honestly, every time someone asks me what is my favorite disc, I think I change my answer because I like a lot of our discs for different reasons. If I had to say something for here, I would just say the Ion, not just because it was our first disc, but it's the one that I've probably spent the most time with in terms of getting the mold perfected. That's the one we had all of our challenges presented and perfecting the overmold process. So I've got a lot of my time invested in that one. So I like that one. And now more recently, we got the Electron Ion. Literally 5 years, in the waiting for that. So I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I sort of like them all.
I
Seriously,
have
my
that problem
bag,
too.
my bag is so overstuffed. I think I'm just gonna get a second bag and just leave 2 bags in my trunk.
Yeah,
Whatever I feel like throwing, just grab a handful and go.
It's always fun launching as
It's
many
always
ver-
changing. That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do it in a bag video because it's I know it's gonna change next month.
Yeah, if we did, it'd be a constantly changing bag. But I could see maybe down the road we could do a couple bit in bag videos. That'd be fun.
All right, Spencer asked, I see both of you have current PDGA memberships. How often do you play disc golf yourselves? Do you plan on playing any tournaments, and how far can you throw?
Well, when I first started, I did play a couple tournaments here and there, as an amateur. But more recently, with the developing of our company, I just haven't had the time to be, competing. But we play as much as we can. It's not competing level, but we get out as much as we can. That's time is the next issue.
Yeah, likewise. I think we play recreational just about every week. Once a week we play recreationally. Tournaments, maybe 1 or 2 a year. Not a lot of tournaments. Mostly just playing for fun.
I would say 75% of my playing is testing new products. Since we've got
Yeah.
something new just about every single month, it's testing new
And that's
discs.
fun in
And
itself.
that's couldn't get any better than that.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And a golf tip question here. Spencer also asked, how fast should the wind be going before I have to compensate by disting up instability or adjust my putt?
I think it depends on the speed class of the model.
Yeah,
And,
that's a very dependent question on your throwing style.
Right.
There's
throwing
too
style
many
and
variables
speed
there.
class of the model and stuff. And I think actually we skipped a question. It was the how far can we throw?
That's
How far can we throw? My personal record was, I believe, 475.
No, you hit 500 foot, haven't you?
I don't think so. I think
Oh, okay.
475. I was close though.
Yep. I did get one throw.
That was with a
What'd you throw?
wave, I believe.
What
Last
plastic?
summer.
Neutron.
Neutron wave.
Yeah, my personal record flat ground was just recently with a Fission Photon. That was 545, but that's kind of a fluke throw. I'd say average. A good normal throw for me is 400 to 420 is about my average throw.
I can vouch for that. Okay, Frank would love to see the brothers in a benefit competition for brother versus brother, and Chad versus Brad in the team of 4 Axiom versus MVP. We're the
We can do something like that at the fan meetup.
I could see that happening. That'd be fun.
yeah.
Something we can consider at the
Yeah.
next fan meetup. Do something creative like that. I know when we did last fan meetups, we always did something unique. So that's something we can keep in mind.
Being brothers, we're naturally competitive against each other.
Yeah,
So
the older brother loves the competition. Beats me at everything.
competitive advantage.
This is my favorite question. Brother versus brother. Who would win in a fight?
Brad, you can answer that one.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Chad's the older brother, so he pretty much beat me at everything. Every single board game, every single sport, one-on-one basketball, ping pong. He's 2 years older than me, so he beats me at everything. I think I can beat him at calculus. That's about it.
Yeah, he got me there. Yep.
Chad, any comment?
I think Brad answered it for me.
All right. And how about childhood pranks? You guys remember any specific ones?
Oh boy.
I can't think of any pranks.
I wouldn't say pranks,
I'm
but
just
more
a lot of
of,
fights. A lot of
I think heavy negotiations is appropriate.
Negotiate,
Yeah,
yeah,
deep
I see.
negotiations. Mhm.
a lot of those blowgun wars with like the suction cup darts.
Oh yeah.
Shoot, like
Oh,
I don't know,
yeah.
we shoot each other. we didn't do paintball, but like it was the generation before paintball when we had those suction cup darts.
Oh yeah. Too much fun there.
All right. Kurt here asked, are your names really just Brad and Chad? Or are they Bradley and Chadwick? Or Chadwick
Ooh.
and Bradwick and
No,
Chadwick?
Brad for short.
It has,
Keep
to be,
it
it has to
simple.
be short. It has to
Chad.
rhyme. I swear that's what our parents are going after, trying to keep it to rhyme.
And
I
people
ask them
people
about
get the
that.
names mixed up all the time. We answer by both names, so
Oh, okay.
don't
All
worry
right.
about it.
And Brian asked, will you read every comment in this thread?
I did.
I read a lot of them.
Yeah.
I don't think I read them all. I read a lot.
I did run through them as quickly as I could, but it was a lot. It was a lot of fun reading through them all, and I'm pretty glad to be answering them.
A follow-up question to that, will you read all the replies to the comments in this thread?
I didn't read any of
Oh.
them.
That one I can't comment on.
All right. And this seems to be a hot topic, the bonfire and team fan reunion. Brian said, "Will we go 0 for 3 this time in Team Fam reunion bonfires?"
I'm thinking so.
Probably.
Yeah, everyone has more fun in here. Everyone gets to see everything we got going on.
With that being said, though, we now got a ping pong table. We
Oh,
have our
yeah.
poker table. We look forward to having a lot of fun. Maybe get a poker game on or a ping pong tournament or a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get a lot more.
All the
activities
pizza
here.
you can eat, you name it, we got it.
There's lots to do.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to have a few questions about the circuits and different events that you guys plan on being able to let players host. And Josh asked, any chance of ever having an annual Axiom tournament like the MVP circuit?
We've been talking about other tournaments, aside from the circuits. More particularly a winter series we're considering.
Yeah, we're a couple of them actually.
Cool.
At least the Winter Series circuit and possibly another one or two. Yeah,
With
definitely
yeah,
next time.
basically with the overwhelming success and demand for circuit events, I don't see why we can't diversify and offer more, different structured tournaments and whatnot.
Okay. And as far as the models for the circuit goes, will you be offering a more stable driver for the circuit? Or upcoming circuits?
In future years,
yeah.
most definitely. This year we kind of we went on the understable side with the driver, but then on the other extreme we went on the overstable side with the mid range. So it was kind of intentional. It was kind of get that spectrum in there.
A lot of it's mostly filling holes in our lineup. For example, the spin being an understable putter. That's kind of our first true understable putter. With our mid range, again very overstable, and the fairway driver is going to be very understable. So as more events come up, it'll just be filling holes in the lineup.
Cool. Do you guys have any plans for an online factory store or offer mystery boxes and retail?
No, not really. I mean, a lot of it, as we're a wholesaler, we want to ship our product to online stores, brick and mortar stores, and let them do all the retail to benefit from the
Yeah,
sales.
a lot of our dealers have contributed to our success, and we want to do everything we can to support them. So, no, we don't have any plans to do in a factory store of that nature.
Okay. And how about MVP in Finland and abroad? Marcus said, my problem is that there's only 2 disc golf stores in Finland selling gyro. Both of them are over 4 hours for me, so I don't get to see or feel a test of discs to try them out very often. I have to order them randomly online. So could we please see more gyro in Finland?
Yeah, we certainly wanted to get into as many stores as possible, and I think we would be a great product for stores in Finland and all over. I mean, we're getting into new stores all over the world on a regular basis. But if you know any stores in your area that would be a great candidate for carrying our products, we certainly encourage you to talk to them and take part of our referral program. You get we'll send you some free discs if you can get some more new stores to carry our products.
Yeah, as a customer to your stores, let them know what you want. Like if you want to carry or you want them to carry gyro discs and MVP and Axiom, just let them know, and they'll be more than happy to fulfill your needs.
Yeah. And Putamus Prime had a question. Any chance you guys will contact TDs in our local area in Michigan in order to make gyro available for payouts at local tournaments?
Yeah, we've heard down the grapevine that the Michigan Disc Golf Organization was considering gyro disc, and we're really open to working with them, or even just talking to clubs in general. We got a great selection of products, and we can definitely work something out.
Yeah, now that we've started launching circuit events, it's kind of given us an opportunity to correspond with tournament directors and building a relationship with them. So again, if you want to see more gyro, talk with them. We're going to continue working with them and grow from there.
That's awesome. Here's a funny question from Josh. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I actually like this question.
That's an interesting one. Yeah.
The way I like to answer it is to reflect back on the past 5 years and see where we've come from in 5 years, and to project where we're going in the next 5 years. And 5 years ago when we were first starting out, we were in our garage and barn and pretty much zilch. I mean, our dad had his molding company, and from scratch we built a mold, and seeing where we came from in the past 5 years, we've come a long ways. A little over a year ago, we built this new facility and moved in, and we've got a huge product line, a full line of disc golf products. So the thing where it came from in 5 years, and the current growth rate is massive. It's just like I can't even imagine what the next 5 years is going to be. I'm sure it's going to be quite phenomenal. I mean, just for the sport altogether, but also just the gyro revolution. You know, the gyro. We're exploding, and it's next
Yeah.
5 years is going to be big.
Yeah, Brett put that very well. I mean, we've exploded since then. And starting out, we've, had very little resources and very little experience molding discs. But, 5 years later, here we are, and with a lot of experience, we're still experimenting with, new technologies, other discs. Our warehouse, it's full in 1 year. We're already going to be expanding this spring and summer. So only from here, it's limitless, really.
Awesome, guys. All right, now let's talk about the MVP world domination.
I think we just did.
Right? We're just getting started. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, how are we going to compete with bigger competition like Innova, and how are we going to break some of these barriers that the overmold produces?
I don't know what barriers are even talking about. We
Yeah.
are exploding. I mean, we are moving a ton of product at this point, and we already are moving a very significant volume compared to the major companies. I mean, like at current projections, we're going to be pushing out their equivalent volume in the next couple of years. So yeah, we are exploding. So I wouldn't say there's any barriers. I mean, our technology is what's really going to propel us to the new standard in disc golf products.
Yeah, we're growing quite rapidly, and a lot of things that we're focusing on preparing for that growth is again automation. When it comes to the production of our discs, we want them consistent. We want them to be produced, very efficiently. So the equipment behind the scenes have been a very good focus for us, and we're very excited because we've made some big improvements just this last year. That's going to help us grow and keep our consistency moving forward.
MVP and Axiom, were they separated at birth? What's the story on that?
I guess it all falls back down to the big difference is the style. The colored overmolds with Axiom and the traditional black or glow variant in MVP. So starting with MVP, we just kept black as a standard just for quality and consistency reasons, because when we started, we couldn't really handle the colored overmolds. Now that's where Axiom started, where now we do have the capability, and we figured it'd be too drastic of a change to introduce color in MVP. It would be desirable, but as for branding and style, it just didn't quite fit the theme. So we wanted to separate.
I think
the
it was the right
identities.
move. I know we've had a lot of questions, even from like dealers. Like why'd you separate it? I still think it was the right thing to do, just because of the style and the branding behind both of them.
Yeah. All right, Larry asked, do y'all ever consider combining MVP and Axiom?
Probably not.
No.
I think they got their own unique lineup, and they've got their own roles in branding, and I think we're gonna keep it that way.
Yeah, and one note on that is, like Brad mentioned, the lineups. They're each going to have their own separate lineups. I mean, some could argue that there is a little bit of overlap between the two, but that's the thing. They'll each have their own lineup that you can, theoretically have an all Axiom bag or an all MVP bag, and with refinements in between here and there.
Okay, are there any future plans after the foreseeable releases? Brandon asked, it seems like the lineup between MVP and Axiom have filled out really well.
Yeah, I mean, we still got a lot more on our plate. Our production board is pretty booked this season, but in terms of new models and new lineups, the list is huge. We're just getting
Even
started when
just
it comes to
outside,
distance
even
drivers.
just new technologies, new ideas altogether. There's a lot of interesting things that we're thinking about doing. In the next few years. So we're only getting started. I mean, that's the mindset we have. Is we're not finished. There's more. There's something better out there, and we've got more.
There's always
planned.
improvements. Ever since moving into this facility, it's allowed us to, really reorganize and restructure our logistics and put more emphasis on, again, more technologies, new materials, new discs, everything. So we're excited for it.
Awesome. All right, well, we have one final question here, and we're going to have to check the questions because this sounds like a fake one. But supposedly Joel asked, when are you guys going to give Zam a raise?
Soon.
As soon
Yeah,
as
we
possible.
basically...
Expensive and by far the best.
Zach, talk with us. We'll go from there. Yep.
All right, well, thanks, guys, for answering almost all our questions, and hope everyone out there enjoyed the Q&A, and let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, again, we thank you guys, for taking the time to ask us all these questions. I had a lot of fun answering
Yeah, it
them.
was fun. Answering
Yep.
the questions, learning about what everyone wants to know about.
Yeah, it's good feedback for us, and we're excited to grow together. Without your support, we wouldn't be here. So, again, thank you. We're excited.
Awesome, guys. See you next
next time.
time.
Yep, see you.